Welcome to my channel once again. So today I have come up with a very challenging topic, especially for the O-level candidates out there, and that is, as you can see, upper bound and lower bound, and this can get a very confusing when it comes to solving question papers. So I have noted some tricks for you guys, so watch till the end, and don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell. Follow me on Facebook and click the like button. So let's get into the video. Okay, so before starting upper bound and lower bound, I would like to talk about some specific key points which are quite essential to understand this chapter and remember this topic. So these are the key points here. So it will be like in the question, you will be asked to find the upper bound to the nearest centimeter, nearest meter, nearest kilograms. It can be any unit. So when it says to the nearest unit, like it can be any unit, centimeter, kilogram, gram, what we do plus minus 0.5. So like for the upper bound we do plus, and for the lower bound it's minus. But when the question says to the nearest tenth of a unit, what we first do 1 by 10, which is tenth, 0.1, and then we divide 0.1 by 2, which gives us 0.05. So for upper bound we add 0.05, and for the lower bound we subtract 0.05. Similarly, when it says nearest hundredth of a centimeter, nearest hundredth of a meter, or any unit, we first do 1 over 100, which gives us 0.01, and then we divide that by 2, and then we do plus minus 0.005. So that's how, by reading the question, by reading these key points, by following these key points, we can figure out like by how much we are supposed to add or subtract to find out the upper bound and lower bound. And when it says like here, nearest 10 of a unit, so see, I did not mention th, it's only 10 of a unit, specific unit. It can be 10 of a centimeter, 10 of a meter, something like that. So whenever it says like that, we first divide again that 10 by 2, we get 5, so we do plus minus 5. It's 100. If it's nearest 100, we do 100 by 2, which gives us 50, so we do plus minus 50. And if it says nearest 5 centimeter or 5 meter or 5 kg or 5 gram, we write 5 over 2, which gives us 2.5. So that will be plus minus 2.5. So these are the key points, and let's move on to some examples. So this is my first example, which is for addition. So you can see here that in case of addition, suppose I have given here two numbers, which is A, 7 centimeter, and B, 5 centimeter, and I have written here up and low, and these are my questions. So in the first question, it was asked to find out the upper bound of A plus B to the nearest centimeter. So this is my keyword, nearest centimeter. So whenever it says nearest of a unit, we know that we have to do plus minus 0.5. So following this, I have written the upper bound and lower bound for both 7 and 5. So like 7 we do plus 0.5, which is 7.5, and for lower we do minus 0.5, which is 6.5. Similarly, 5, if we add 0.5, it gives us upper bound 5.5 and lower bound 4.5. And when we are asked to find the upper bound of A plus B, so we take the upper bound of A and also the upper bound of B, and then we add together to get the combined upper bound of A plus B. Similarly, if it says about lower bound, then it's again both the lower bounds of these alphabets A and B to get the combined lower bound of A plus B. So this is my answer. Now let's move on to subtraction. So again, as you can see, I have written two numbers here. Again, A represents 7 centimeter and B represents 5 centimeter. And now I have written 4 questions depending on subtraction, because this subtraction can be a bit tricky, but then again, we will know how to use it. So if it says upper bound of A minus B to the nearest tenth of a centimeter. So this is my keyword, nearest tenth. So we immediately know that when it says to the nearest tenth, we have to do 1 over 10, which gives us 0.1. That means we have to do plus minus 0.5. It will be 0.05. So upper bound. So as you can see, I have written it down here again for your convenience. So we know that with A and B, we have to add plus minus 0.05. So this gives us the upper bound, and by subtracting these gives us the lower bound. And when it comes to subtraction, if I have to find the upper bound of A minus B, then we take the upper bound of A and lower bound of B. Similarly, if it says the lower bound of A minus B, we take at first the lower bound and then the upper bound. We subtract the upper bound from the lower bound. So one trick to remember this in case of subtraction is that whatever you are asked to find, which is like suppose here you're asked to find the upper bound, we always take the first number to be the one that you're told to find, and the second one to be the reverse. Again, I'm saying if you when it comes to subtraction, if the question says find out the upper bound, that means for the first alphabet we have to take the upper bound, and then for B we have to take the lower bound. Similarly, if it says the lower bound, so for the first alphabet we'll be taking lower, and then for the other one we'll be taking the reverse one, which is the upper bound. Similarly, when it says the upper bound of B minus A, so again I have, since now it says upper bound, for the first letter I have to take up, and for the second letter I have to take low. So up minus low. Again, B minus A, here I have written to find out the lower bound. So for B I'm taking the lower first, and for A I'm taking the upper bound. So these are my answers. So these were my examples for subtraction. Now let's move on to multiplication and division. Okay. So here again, A and B, I've taken two numbers, 7 and 5, and I've written up and low here. Now let's move on to the question. I have told you guys to find out the upper bound of A times B to the nearest 10 centimeter. So first what we have to do, this is my keyword, nearest 10 centimeter. So first we have to find out what do we have to do, like which number do we have to add and subtract to find out the upper bound and the lower bound. So as you can see here, it's 10 divided by 2, which is 5, So when we are finding out the upper bound of a times b, we take the upper bound of both the numbers. So here, as you can see, I have added and subtracted 5 from these numbers. 7 plus 5 is 12, and 7 minus 5 is 2. 5 plus 5 is 10, and 5 minus 5 is 0. So this was our upper bound, and when it comes to lower bound, in case of multiplication, for both the numbers, we are taking the lower bounds. Lastly, the division part. So the division part is somewhat like the subtraction, so it will be easier to understand now. So in case of division, if we are told to find the upper bound of a divided by b, so whatever we are told to find, the numerator will start with that. So for a we take up, and for b we take low. Again, when it says lower bound, for a we take low and b we take up. If it says b over a, now for b we are taking up, and for a we are taking low, and vice versa in this case. So the main trick to remember this is, in case of subtraction and division, whatever we are asked to find, the first alphabet will be exactly the one that we are told to find. Like suppose upper bound, so a will be up, and the second alphabet will take the reverse number. So yes, that was it. Thank you for watching till the end. See you guys with yet another topic.